Now at 6, a big new theme park is coming to Northeast Oklahoma. We'll explain what it'll offer to you and your family. Plus,
of homeless people in Pittsburgh. I'm Fernanda Silva, and I'll show you how local residents are getting together to make a difference.
and we look back at a Missouri boating accident that was one of the deadliest in U.S. history.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
A massive new theme park is coming to Northeast Oklahoma. This is KOAM News at 6. I'm Dow Quick. The developers and state officials made the announcement at a news conference today. The developer is American Heartland, an affiliate of Mansion Entertainment Group founded by Gene Bicknell. The more than $2 billion resort destination will be in Craig County, just west of Grand Lake on Route 66. Developers say the American Heartland theme park and resort will be a 1,000-acre development with a 125-acre theme park. They say it'll feature an Americana-themed environment with a variety of rides, live shows, waterways, and restaurants. They also plan a 300-room hotel and indoor water park. They say it'll create more than 4,000 jobs. Bicknell, who is well known for developments and donations in southeast Kansas, says this new Oklahoma project will provide family entertainment for generations and be good for the area.
I thought this was an opportunity to help the area from where I came, and I know that northeastern Oklahoma's been underdeveloped. It needs a kick in economic development, so we're here to do that.
Bring family entertainment and value to the world, if you will. Our goal is to build and present that in whether it's music, theme parks, RV parks.
Today's news conference featured this scale model of the attraction. The development will be built in phases, starting with a large-scale RV park with cabins scheduled to open phase 1 in spring of 2025. The theme park and resort are scheduled to open in 2026. You can find much more about the plan on our website, koamnewsnow.com. A meeting is scheduled for tomorrow to discuss the homeless situation in Pittsburgh. The goal is to educate the community and help residents understand what can be done to support local homeless people. KOAM's Fernanda Silva has that story.
It was after family problems and a mental health breakdown that Brendan Collins found himself calling Pittsburgh's streets home.
When I became homeless, I refused to give up hope that I'd have a future, and I refused to give up hope in my past.
All his belongings are now inside 10 shopping carts. The carrier also serves as a shelter for him when needed.
Used it as shelter since there's no camping in town. You can't have a tent set up. You can't have anything to keep you from the elements. However, you can protect your stuff from the elements by tarping it. So you make a little bit of space and utilize that.
The city of Pittsburgh doesn't have an overnight shelter. For the homeless people I've talked to, the support would be a great way to make them feel safer.
It would give us the ability to have that moment to breathe, to be able to feel safe and to be able to sort things out in our head.
They wouldn't be out here on the streets. Having them look for a job during the day would help them a lot too.
Brennan and Mandy are not alone. Wesley House in Pittsburgh estimates that there are more than 130 homeless people in Crawford County.
Any of our other goals in health or employment, corrections is not going to be successful without having a consistent and safe night's place to sleep and store your items, take your medications as prescribed.
Seeing the situation homeless people are facing in Pittsburgh, Nicole Hembling decided to take action. She's organizing a meeting to discuss the homelessness situation in Pittsburgh. The goal is to educate the community and help residents understand what can be done to support local homeless people.
Really a grassroots movement to try to see if there's anything that we can come together on, and just really seeing if we can collaborate and do something as a community that's maybe privately funded.
Just really educating our community about what homelessness is and how we are working on goals to end homelessness, basically.
In Pittsburgh, Fernanda Silva, KOAM News.
That meeting is open to business and property owners tomorrow at 5 p.m. at Reese Nichols Sunflower Realty Group. That's at 513 North Broadway. You can find more information about it on our website, again, KOAMnewsnow.com. Let's check in with Chief Meteorologist Doug Heddy for a first look at the weather.
Well, of course, it turned out to be another hot one for us today. Temperatures way up there, upper 90s to near 100 degrees, but clouds kept us down a hair compared to what we did see yesterday. And we do still have a lot of clouds kind of shooting across the region, even a couple little showers in our northern counties. We're watching what develops out to the west because a cluster of thunderstorms will head toward us late tonight. This is going to be mainly after 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, so not too much is going to be going on until that point in time. Still hot. Look at this. Most of us low to mid 90s. We still have heat indices. The way it feels to your skin, upper 90s to right around 100 degrees. And as we go through the evening hours, we'll continue to slide back through the 90s, eventually into the 70s, but thunderstorm chances increasing late tonight. We're going to be talking more about that here in just a bit.
See you soon. McDonald County, Missouri authorities this morning investigated a home shooting. Happened around 9:30 near Buffalo Creek in the Beeman Hollow area. Authorities say 2 family members returned to their home to find a man inside their house. They say that man fired a gun at the homeowner and the 2 residents shot back. The suspect was hit twice. No word yet on charges or the name of the suspect. A head-on crash near Avila, Missouri claims the life of a man and a baby. That crash happened last night on Missouri 96 near the intersection of Missouri 97. Authorities say 32-year-old Wyatt Cady of Ash Grove was driving his truck when he went off the road, overcorrected, and hit a car head-on. Wyatt Cady died at the scene. Authorities say a baby girl also died. A 3-year-old boy and the driver of the car, 31-year-old Curtis Forrest of Republic, suffered serious injuries. Coming up, 5 years since a duck boat capsized in Branson, killing more than a dozen people. We're going to look back on one of the deadliest boating accidents in U.S. history. Plus, how a new Missouri law could make life a little easier for seniors. Today marks 5 years since a Ride the Ducks boat capsized during a storm in Table Rock Lake in southwest Missouri. It killed 17 people on board. 16 passengers, including 9 from the same family, and 1 crew member driving the boat drowned in that accident. Investigators say the boat company had plenty of warning about the severe weather, but the boat still launched more than 20 minutes after a thunderstorm warning was issued for the area. It was one of the deadliest boating accidents in U.S. history. Tax breaks could be coming for older Missourians in a bill signed by the governor this month. It could mean property tax rates will be frozen for people who qualify. What does that mean for you? Well, the law would allow counties to decide whether to freeze property taxes for seniors. To qualify, you have to be at least 65 years old or eligible for Social Security benefits and own a home or pay property taxes on a home. The idea is to save you money. It seems simple enough, but as reporter Francis Watson says, Greene County officials say it's not quite that simple.
All right, I'm ready for it.
Harlan Flippin has been retired for about 2 years.
Property taxes went up about $300 last year, and so that's over. That's just we're on right now. We're both living off our Social Security, so that's a chunk of change.
He's all for saving money on the taxes he pays for his Springfield home. Missouri Senate Bill 190 allows counties to freeze property taxes for seniors who are eligible for Social Security benefits, own a home, or pay property taxes on a home.
I don't sense that there's any hesitancy on the part of my colleagues here in Greene County to go ahead and implement this. The big question for us is, what are we implementing and how are we supposed to do it?
Greene County Presiding Commissioner Bob Dixon says the bill is too vague to put into action.
It's a concept on paper, but it lacks the details that are necessary for counties across the state to implement it.
Greene County Collector Alan Isett agrees.
We've gone through this multiple times and have identified a number of questions that simply need to be answered.
Besides a software update that could take months, Isett says there are no guidelines to establish eligibility. And what happens if property taxes decrease, among other questions.
And that way, we, the collectors, are not having to fill the gaps and make assumptions. Because if we do, of the 114 counties, there will be multiple counties that come up with different answers and different processes, which is not the way this should be rolled out.
I think it's bound for legislative cleanup next year. I certainly hope so.
Harlan says waiting for the confusion to clear will be worth it.
I don't mind paying our taxes, don't mind paying stuff for schools and stuff like that for kids or grandkids. But on the other hand, my medicine's gone up, Medicare went up. So, yeah, there got to be some insider relief somewhere.
That law is scheduled to go into effect on August 28th. A federal judge rules Kansas Governor Laura Kelly gets to defend birth certificate changes in court. Governor Kelly argues that the new Kansas law rolling back transgender rights doesn't bar the state from changing the sex listing on transgender people's birth certificates. Kansas Attorney General Chris Kobach argues that a law that took effect July 1st prohibits such changes and requires the state to undo previous ones. A little later, 3 Crowder College baseball players commit to new schools. We'll have details in sports.
Plus, we have thunderstorm chances increasing once again tonight. Details coming up. Well, it turned out to be a hot one once again for us today. Temperatures upper 90s to right around 100 degrees. Of course, heat indices above that with partly sunny skies. Nice shot. Indigo Sky Casino and Resort just southwest of Seneca, Missouri. And most of us look pretty good for the evening hours. Of course, it's going to be on the hot side. We're still pretty hot. 95 Independence, 94 in Bonita. We have 91 Neosho. Nevada is sitting at 92 degrees, but overall it looks pretty good. 93 outside, at least it's not as hot as what it was yesterday. Heat index still sitting at about 97, and if you look at our heat indices, 102 in Parsons, 107 the way it feels to your skin, Independence, 108 in Neodesha. Through the evening, we slide back through the 90s, 80s, eventually upper 70s later on tonight. You can see the clouds kind of shooting through a couple little random showers in our far northern counties, just north of Nevada, up toward Rich Hill, and then stretching just north of Stockton Lake. Everybody else is pretty much dry, but we are tracking thunderstorms out across western Kansas, eastern parts of Colorado, and we're going to see if some of those can head toward us later on tonight. And of course, we're dealing with our big heat dome, big dome of high pressure, waves shoot over the high. As this breaks down over the next couple days, we actually cool off a little bit as we go into the weekend. All right, let's step through time. We're going to stop at 1:30 in the morning. Scattered thunderstorms trying to pick up in our northwestern counties. Let's go to 2, 3, 4 o'clock in the morning. A little batch of thunderstorms work into southeastern Kansas, slide through, and these storms could be a little bit on the stronger side, most likely not severe, but we could get a few stronger ones. They're not going to be widespread. They are going to be scattered. These continue to work through. Here's 7 a.m. So we'll start with some scattered thunderstorms, and then most of the rest of the day looks okay. We'll have clouds through the morning. Could get an isolated shower during the afternoon. Still hot, just not as hot as what we saw today. 78 in the morning, 87 by noon. Wind switched to the north, and then up to 91 by 5 p.m. Tomorrow night, we watch the same thing. Another batch of thunderstorms tracking in. A little stronger, a little bit more widespread, lasting into Friday morning. And then again, Friday afternoon, we'll start to clear out, see some sunshine. But look at our temps. Upper 70s, lower 80s on Friday. So it looks pretty good as we go into Friday afternoon. All right, rainfall amounts next 2 nights. So tonight's storms and Thursday night storms. Northern counties, again, not much, but a lot of us should pick up 1/4 of an inch, 1/2 an inch, maybe upwards to an inch, which would be really nice. And you can see our dome of high pressure retreats to the west. So we get some cooler air as we head into the weekend, but watch this. Here it comes again as we head into next week. That means the heat and the humidity will start to return. All right, 93 tomorrow, 82 on Saturday. Enjoy that. Even 90 on Saturday. The humidity is going to be low. And then it starts to pump back in. 95 Sunday, 100 on Monday, lower triple digits all of next week.
We bottle up a little bit of that relatively cool Friday air and then open it up again, say, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday.
No, we can't. I'm sorry.
Gosh.
But you had to ask.
I had to. Thanks, Doug. Still ahead, the Outlaws play a doubleheader as they close in on the playoffs, and several Crowder baseball student athletes move on to new schools. John Dales is going to have those stories for us and a lot more coming up.
Junior college athletics are much different than the traditional NCAA model of spending 4 years at a school. Instead, student athletes come to a place like Crowder College for just a year, maybe two, hope to improve their recruiting profile, then go somewhere else. And that reality is playing out as we speak at Crowder, as several members of the Rough Riders 2023 baseball team have committed to new schools since the season ended. And more specifically, in the past week, 3 different Rough Riders have made their commitments this past week. Starting first with Dawson Tabor, a right-handed pitcher who only appeared in 1 game this season. He's headed to Henderson State in Arkansas, the same state where he grew up. Another right-handed pitcher, Joe Hackman, headed to the University of Nebraska, Omaha. And Hackman had some really impressive numbers this year, posting an ERA of 1.46 in 24 innings of work. Rounding things out with catcher Joe Reed, who batted .336 this year with 12 home runs. He's on to Loyola Marymount. And we continue down the stretch of the regular season in the Mink League this evening. Outlaws still in first place in the South Division. The Griffins still alive in the playoff hunt, but both of those are subject to change today. Starting first with the Outlaws, they host Sedalia tonight in a doubleheader. First game just getting underway at Joe Becker Stadium. Little different than normal. Both ends of the doubleheader are only 7 innings, but each game still counts the same towards the standings. We'll have highlights from Game 1 and the score from Game 2 tonight at 10. That game of interest to Nevada will start first with its contest at home tonight against Carroll. The Griffins need to win that game in order to stay in the playoff hunt because they're 2 behind Sedalia right now, with just 2 games left to play. So on top of winning that, the Griffins need the Bombers to lose both their games tonight. Now that makes a little more sense as you take a look at the current standings in the South Division. Top 3 teams make the playoffs. 2 and 3 seeds are the wild cards, and the division winner gets a first round bye. That's what the Outlaws are hoping to get, but regardless of tonight's outcome in the doubleheader, Joplin will likely make or break its season in a 3-game road set this weekend at Jefferson City, who's in second place right now. And in pro baseball, the Cardinals in a bit of a weird spot. Not necessarily trying to compete for a playoff spot, but in the past few days, St. Louis has been playing some of the best baseball in the league. Redbirds have a 4-game winning streak entering today, looking to get a series sweep on the Marlins. And this afternoon, they do exactly that. The Cards make it a 5-game win streak as they take down Miami 6-4. Big game for second baseman Nolan Gorman. He drives in 4 runs with a 3-run bomb to dead center in the first inning, then added an insurance run with an RBI single in the 7th. Next up for the Redbirds, 4 games set against the Cubs at Wrigley. That's all for sports. We're back after this.
Here's a look at what's coming up on KOAM News at 9 on Fox 14. An employee of Mercy Hospital in Carthage is taking steps to become a leader of the hospital in the future. Plus, Pittsburgh Community Theater holds a media night for their upcoming performances of Disney's Descendants. Those stories, a lot more, of course. It's coming up on KOAM News at 9 on Fox 14. Temperature not too bad at the moment, but hold on to your socks because it's going to get worse in about a week.
Yeah, next week we go back to the triple digits, but we do have thunderstorm chances late tonight.
Thanks for joining us. We'll see you right back here at 10. Let's make it a great evening.